Hello and happy Work It Wednesday, everybody. I hope your day is going well or went well, or whenever you're listening to this that you are having a good day. So last week we talked a little bit about, or we started the conversation on how to save some big money on your 2022 taxes. Because, taxes are a thorn in just about every business owner's side. And indeed, taxes are your single biggest business expense. So with that said, it's fairly easy to reduce the amount of sting that taxes cause, but you have to be proactive. And I'm not talking about doing anything illegal here. Evading paying taxes is a recipe for disaster. However, implementing creative tax strategies is a recipe for the growth of your business by putting more investment into your business and community and less into the hands of the government. So again, I am Becky Easton, your host of this podcast, Family Wealth and Other Musings. I'm a personal family lawyer licensed in Arizona and Colorado, although I am not your lawyer unless we have an agreement to that effect. So anything I'm talking about on this podcast is meant to be general legal information and not specific advice tailored to your unique situation. So if you have questions about anything that I've said that piques your interest, I highly recommend talking to a experienced lawyer, a personal family lawyer. You can find one near you by going to personalfamilylawyer.com. For any of the business matters that I discuss, I definitely recommend getting in touch with a family business lawyer that is near you, and you can find one at familybusinesslawyer.co. That's just C-O. And yeah, so definitely reach out if you have questions. We are fun, I think. And, we like to work with you and help you create good solutions to your problems, or rather to work together ahead of time to prevent problems from happening, for sure. So last week, I discussed about how you can lay the groundwork for your yearly tax strategy by establishing the right relationship with a qualified bookkeeper and tax advisor. And remember, if you don't have that right relationship, get in touch with a family business lawyer who can help support you in getting your legal, insurance, financial, and tax, or your LIFT team in place. So today I want to talk about how you can use this foundation to develop and implement creative tax strategies that you can save your company big money on taxes. So first, you want to create your tax projections. Once you've got your LIFT team in place, you want to meet monthly with your bookkeeper within the first 10 days of every month to review your profit and loss statement, your P&L. And during this meeting, you want to review the categorization of your income and expenses each month, rather than scrambling to get your receipts to your CPA in February or March, just before taxes are due. Before this meeting, your bookkeeper should have your books reconciled, including all bank accounts and credit card expenses. To be most effective, your bookkeeper needs to understand all of the ways that you earn revenue and know the expenses required to fulfill the delivery of your product and or service. Using this knowledge, your bookkeeper should update a daily forecast each week and produce your monthly P&L so you can stay regularly apprised of your company's financial health and make strategic decisions on that basis. Each month, when you review your P&L, you're looking for variances from the prior month, as well as expenses that are improperly categorized or not categorized at all. It's crucial to properly categorize all expenses so you can measure trends in your business and write off as many deductions as possible against your taxable income. And if you aren't sure what deductions you can write off, I recommend the book by Sandy Botkin called Lower Your Taxes Big Time. In late October or early November, your bookkeeper should send year-to-date profit and loss statement to your tax advisor, along with projections of income and expenses for the remainder of the year. Your tax advisor will then use that data to create tax projections based on your current earnings versus expenses and how much you expect to bring in over the remainder of the year. Using these projections, you can put strategies in place to minimize your tax liability. And with that said, most of these strategies need to be in place before the end of the year. So ideally, make sure that you've started this process in the final weeks of November at the latest. If your tax projections indicate that you're going to owe money, meet with your CPA and a family business lawyer or other qualified attorney to strategize the best year-end tax strategies to implement. And again, if you haven't run your tax projections yet because you don't have a qualified bookkeeper or tax advisor, get a great referral to the professionals that we trust most. Put your tax strategies into play next. Once you have your tax projections ready, you want to look at whether you're likely to be in a higher tax bracket this year compared with future years. Determining this will allow you to save on your taxes by managing when you receive your year-end income and pay your year-end expenses. After reviewing that data, if you're likely to be in higher tax bracket this year than in the future, it makes sense to push taxes off into the years when your tax rate will be lower. Even if your tax bracket will be higher in future years, it still might be worthwhile to push your taxes off into the future. This way, you'll be able to use those funds, which would otherwise be in the hands of the government. This is the question to ask yourself. Can I make more money with those funds now than I'd pay in higher taxes by pushing those tax payments off until later? If you can make more money now, you can decrease this year's taxes by pushing income into the future and accelerating expenses that you'd otherwise pay next year into this year. Or you can even use the additional cash to fund tax-deferred retirement plans like a 401k or IRA. If you prefer to pay taxes this year because you're currently in a significantly lower tax bracket than you're likely to be in the future years, or you have losses that will be expiring to offset your income, you should increase this year's income. And one way you can generate more revenue now is by offering year-end discounts on products and services that might not need to be delivered until next year. No matter what, you want to plan ahead to maximize your tax savings. Managing when your company receives income and pays expenses in this manner can save you big money on your taxes, not just for 2022, but every year. And this type of creative tax planning is just one small part of an effective tax strategy. There are countless other ways you can strategize to keep more of the money you earn working for you rather than giving it to the government. If any of this sounds like something that you need to discuss and you don't yet have a great attorney that you're working with, again, I recommend finding a family business lawyer near you, familybusinesslawyer.co, and really sitting down to make this work for you. There's no sense in giving extra money to the government if that's something that you can be using either in your own business or to fund, as I said, kind of retirement plans or things like that. Keep that money working for you instead. So thanks again for listening in to this episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. This content was courtesy of New Law Business Model, and I am so glad to have had you join me today. If you have any questions or anything like that, anything you'd like to discuss further with me, you can always hop on my calendar for a quick chat by going to bit.ly/call Easton Law, or by calling my front office at 480-999-4455. And I guess that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for tuning in on this Wednesday, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.